Good night, and welcome back to another episode of Island Fans. I'm here tonight with Moydem. Right now he's 2 out of 3, eagerly anticipating this coming weekend to see if he can complete that most coveted treble. Congratulations, I should say. You've won another trophy over the weekend. So tonight we're going to touch on that. We're going to look back at that. We're going to just kind of like touch on what's to come this weekend. We're gonna get more in depth in that on Thursday. We're gonna talk about some transfer rumors, a little basketball, anything really, anything really. We're gonna touch on tonight. But we're gonna start with more football. Football is basically done. You had a win over the weekend, and I mean a trophy is a trophy. But did you feel threatened by Manchester United throughout that game?
No, no, I didn't. I don't know. Yeah, because all I saying is United. I really wanted in the finals, because I thought that would have been the easier team from either them, or I think it was or Brighton.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, it turned out to be that. City did not play so good as I expected them to. We kind of played poor in that game, but United had to put their best foot forward, which they didn't. So City at half, managed to see out the game. And yeah, another title in the bag, but even though them questionable referee decisions, but you know how that be.
Again, right. I know we're touching on there. Right, but before we go on that, again, we have to talk about Gundogan because he could have had a hat trick on the weekend too. This guy, every time it comes from anything past February, he turns up the heat. So are you guys gonna give him a new contract or not?
Yo, shot, I would give him that 2 year contract. Not even probably 2 years, but um, I'm trusting in Pep and Man City because Pep has gotten the cause right so far. Deciding on when to move on, Aguero and company. But I don't think though it is kind of slightly different. When you decide to move them on, they will gradually get in place out the team, coming off the
Right.
bench there and so forth. But Gundogan still has such a massive role in this team. You have the KDB that will make the killer pass, but he's the one in the midfield to just calm down everything and then towards the business end. He keeps coming up big. But then I've heard discussion saying that, everybody had his all around the place because they were saying that if he really wanted to stay, he would have really signed the thing already. So it coming down so close makes it even more fishy.
I
So
hear
I just
you.
have
I
to wait
hear
and
you,
see.
right? And yes, you mentioned some players there, but if we look at Gundogan, we don't see any signs of decline in him. Really, we don't see any signs of decline whatsoever. But it does take some semblance of wisdom. It does take some semblance of wisdom where you have to know, okay, we've gotten everything out of him that we could possibly have gotten, or we can squeeze this little bit more juice out of him, or knowing well, you know what, it's time to move on. It's time to move on. It's time to bring in somebody that can help us over the next 3 to 4 years. I mean, these are the questions that Pep has to answer. But I know for you, you said Gundogan stays. You said you're gonna give him 2 years.
Yeah, I'll give him two. I know
How
exaggerating to give him
old
the
is
two
he?
years because yo, um,
He's
I
about
don't remember exactly, but I think
he's about 33.
about maybe something like that, something of that sort. I was listening to a podcast today, and they were saying that City should keep Gundogan because they was likening it to James Milner.
Mm. Yeah, he's 32.
Oh,
He's currently
they was
32.
likening him to James Milner. Yeah, he's like that veteran in the team, and the young players could learn from him, and he can still manage to put in a shift. Even if he's
Right.
not making the team as much, he can still come in and put in a shift. Well, I would honestly like him to stay. Him and
But
Bernardo,
I
I
also
think,
don't see.
priority this
I
decision
don't
making
see
players, some of
Gundogan
those
like
players.
making a ruckus either for game time. So it seems like someone good to be in the dressing room. You aren't really causing. Okay, put it this way. I don't see you losing anything with keeping him for another, maybe a year or two. I mean, he's not going to stop you from signing anybody else because you know you have the money. You don't need to get him off the books for you to have finances. So it seems like a win-win for me.
And I hear you clearly you was chopping up when you was talking.
All right. Let me take this out. All right, this you can hear me clearly now. Is that better?
Yeah, I hear you now.
All right. So I was saying it's a win-win if you
Go
keep
ahead.
Gundogan. I was saying it's a win-win if you keep Gundogan because he's not going to cause any ruckus in the changing room, and he's not going to stop you financially from bringing in anybody else. So why not just keep it?
I don't know what happened now. You keep chopping at certain points, and then when you stop, it's go back clear.
I keep chopping. Wow.
But you're good now.
I
I
okay.
don't know if it's
All right.
on my
I
end.
was talking about Gundogan. Jolie is saying Kovacic and Gundogan as your options. Yeah, because that Kovacic deal seems like it's gonna happen. You can't hear me.
Yeah, I think it's a win. I think it's a win-win. I think it's a win for us if we manage to keep Gundogan. That was the last thing you said.
No, it wasn't. But okay, it's fine. It's fine. Let's try and get through. Um. Okay, so let me go through. Let me Jelly List here. Jelly List saying Weghorst versus Weghorst better than Jesus. I don't make the rules. All right, so let me give you a little context. Jelly has been saying over the past couple of days, I think it's since Saturday, because he was just looking something to after the defeat to say. Um, that Weghorst has had a more successful season than Okay, man say me can hear you sharp. More, are you the problem? Man say maybe it's your internet more. So Jelly has been saying over the past couple of days that Weghorst has had a better. I think he had a better. I think he said this. Weghorst has had a better season than a more successful. Jelly, tell me the word. Tell me the exact word. I don't want to misquote you. So I want you to say what did you say exactly over the weekend in terms of Weghorst? I think you were saying Weghorst and Kane. He had a more successful season than Kane, or he had a better season than Kane. What exactly were you saying? Because I mean, I heard you judging it based on trophies, but I feel like my mind personally, when you're thinking of someone as an individual taking themselves out of a team, looking at their individual stats. Me personally, I'm looking at that person's numbers. I'm looking at the person's numbers. If you're telling me, no, let's compare a team, then I'm gonna look at how the team has performed throughout the season. He says Weghorst has had a more successful season than Harry Kane. Okay, he have a trophy and he have none. Okay, so I think you can say this is just how I would put it. More, you're not hearing still. You're not hearing me more. All right, more, you're having some trouble. So, Johnny, you may say, but me you can talk to them. I would say Weghorst has. I won't say he had a more successful season than Kane. I would say Weghorst's team has had a better season than Kane's team. But when you look at the individual players, when you match them up against each other, I don't think you can make that comment. I don't think you can make that comment. I don't think that comment is accurate, bro. When I look at that, it's no, Jolly, that one this us, bro. I mean, I agree with some of the things that you say, but that one upon the weekend, the buds you lost me. You lost me because there's no possible way I could think. You know what? Let me look at Kane and let me look at Weghorst this season. albeit he came in late in the season. I don't think you can tell me, like you're saying here, success is determined by trophies, not individual accolades. But what success are we talking about? Bro. What success are we talking about? Let's try more again. See if more get it. Can you hear me, more? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good so far.
All right. So, okay, just to bring you up to speed, Jalil has been making this case that Wiggins has had a better season than Harry Kane this season. Let me just go back. He says Wiggins had more successful season than Harry Kane. He have a trophy and he have none. He says simple maths. Success is determined by trophies, not individual accolades. I prefer Wiggins 0 goals and a trophy than 100 goals and no trophy. Carabao Cup. All right, so this is what I was saying more. Oh, I mean, Wiggins have an assist in the cup final. This is what I was saying more. And you can tell me if you disagree. You can tell me if you agree or if you disagree. All right? I'm saying that that Wiggins' team had a more successful season than Harry Kane's team. But Harry Kane had a more successful season individually than Wiggins. He's trying to make the point of Wiggins' trophy and his assist in the cup final being the trump card in what puts Wiggins over Kane this season. But I'm saying when you look at when you tell me Wiggins when you ask me Wiggins versus Kane, I'm not looking at the club's performance. I'm looking at the individual numbers. That's just me. How do you see it now?
I agree with you because that's coming in the same realm of somebody coming to you. Be like Calvin Phillips had a more successful season than Casemiro, which is
Right.
which is not even the case though.
And it says it
You
says
you
here,
can you can say Cole Palmer had a way better season than Salah and Saka
right,
and Rashford and all those players.
right. Based on that, Jaleel, we can get crazy if we're gonna lead with a premise like that. If that's what we're setting now, that narrative that we want to push, we can get very crazy with that because Calvin Phillips, are you gonna say he had a better successful season than Partey, than Casemiro? By your admission, he would be. By your admission, he would be. We say he's going off somebody. May go off somebody rules. I mean, who for rules that? Because that ruling just seems flawed. Flawed. He says judging of the person rules. Yes. Okay. All right. He said, I would like to know who that person is. Or like to speak to that person because I do not think that person meant what you were thinking that person meant. No, I know. No, I think you're hinting at my good friend O'Neill there. And again, me and O'Neill disagree on a lot of things, but I don't think that O'Neill wasn't saying that. O'Neill have a lot of bad things to say about Harry Kane, but he wasn't saying that. He wasn't saying that, bro. And it's time for O'Neill. Let's go. Let's message O'Neill and get O'Neill. Let's get O'Neill in the chat on the show. You now come on the show because I understand what you were really trying to come with, bro. But see it in the group now. We see it in the group, the same group that I use for one bash Arsenal every day. That man come with some hot topic. So the hot topic that jelly in they say, how Weghorst, how more successful season than Harry Kane. And he try to say O'Neill because O'Neill have a deep hatred for Harry Kane. He just say he and Pong in a rating because he not win no trophy. Fair enough. But I don't think that's what he was saying. I think Jaleel, either that Jaleel is an instigator. That's the way he be. The man an instigator and he love to start some. He love to start some. And this is what I can't understand with the youth. There's no way Jaleel O'Neill Mende say that. There's no way more. More, you with us?
Yeah, I'm following so far.
Alright, Shackman say Harry Kane do none in the career for Carlos' success. Right. Okay. But let me ask you now, Jaleel. What's your take on it? Like the talk about other people rules. We can't talk about free rules. How you see it? How you see it? Shaq, all you have to do is scroll back up, simple maths. Nah, bro. No. I don't. He made that, but what you're saying now, I think it's out of context. I think it'll be out of context. So I want you to tell me, not taking into account, not taking into account his rules, taking into account your rules. Are we going to touch on that? Because then more, I mean, we gonna touch on that tonight. Now we have our end of season award show, and more. Let me ask you. You here, right? You can hear me? Okay. So
Yeah,
who would you give your player of the season to? A Manchester City's player of the season.
Erling Haaland.
In my mind, I'm like, yo, who you gonna give? I forget that there was this beast. I forget that there was that beast. Something. Have a go do something. Like all the clubs ever have a meeting this year in the off season. Like, yo, this guy cannot do what he did this year. Just cannot. Like he getting 22 goals next year is the most he can get. Someone have to do to him because he can't do that again. Maybe he can't about he. Man just come and just make the league seem like um a triple net. Man say, okay. He say, in our seriousness, of course I don't think that. Boss, me even rate Wegas. We just have to do Wegas prop because of the rules. Alright. O'Neal will come in and answer for his crimes. O'Neal will come and answer for his crimes. Moy, so you said he gets the player of the season. Um,
Yep.
who gets your flop of the season? Who gets your flop of the season?
Yo, that's so
Ho-
tough now
Hold
because
on there,
I
Moy.
would be saying,
Hold on there, Moy. Let me just tell Jaleel, this is what I want you to do for me. Manchester United's player of the season, the flop of the season, most improved player of the season, unsung hero of the season, and your signing of the season. Give me that. Give me that, son. Jolly. All right. So, more again, the flop, which I
yeah,
thought was
yo, it's
difficult for
tough
me
now.
to give an Arsenal one, but
I, well, it's tough and still not tough for me because I think it's kind of unfair justice on the person's behalf too. And I think you already know who I'm going to call. It would be Calvin Phillips, but I don't really want to say he's a flop because he never really got the opportunities that we expect. He never got the opportunities that we expected him to get this season. I mean, the same
but
could be
more
said for Laporte.
that's
That
based on
never
the fact that maybe he
played that
flopped
much. Huh?
because he had that weight issue too. So maybe we can do. I feel like that's a justified answer. He flopped. That's why Pep wasn't able to make Pep didn't look at him as a genuine option there.
But the thing is now, when he was just about to get back to fitness, all up till he was playing the friendly against Barcelona, he had, because remember, we went on international duty with an injury. And when he came to City, that's when he decided to do that. I think it was a shoulder injury. He had to do surgery on that, on some injury. As he was getting fit, I think he ended up and aggravated that. So then he had to get through surgery. Stayed out for a while and then the whole fitness stuff. And coming down to business and I mean he's not going to play that much against play in front of
Right,
Rodri.
right,
I mean
right,
there's a couple games I thought he could have
right.
played. That's why I think it's kind of unfair injustice to say outright, but I think by that he's probably the only one there to call.
I
Because
give you see
yeah, I
for
mean he's
me
just
when I look at from an Arsenal perspective, I'm gonna get Julie has this in the comments. We're gonna get to those. When I look from Arsenal perspective, I'm looking at okay. I know Saka has the numbers, so I'd probably just give him my player of the season. But I don't want to say I don't want to say, oh, it has to be Saka, because then I look at Martinelli's numbers, which I could give him most improved. But What about Ben White? I felt like he was tremendous for us this season. Not Erickson. What I'm talking about? Ramsdale in goal. Gabriel at the back. I feel like was just phenomenal for us. But I'll lean with Saka, and for my flop, which is this is tough to my because could I give it to could I give it to Tierney, or which would be something similar to what you're saying? It just doesn't fit what Arteta wants to do. He's not necessarily a flop. Um, I feel like the flop is hard. If you can think of somebody from Arsenal, or maybe you can help me out because I'm looking at 1 to 11. I'm trying to think of people who come off the bench. You're like, yo, you're hoping that something because even Nketiah had a good spell when he was getting games, but he wasn't always getting
I
games.
think it all I think it all comes down to, but I still want to put Nketiah in there because he steps up when the striker wasn't there, and then Gabriel Jesus came back and phased him out. So then, just like you said, Tierney, that's the only option I could really go back to, and he's just like the same as Calvin Phillips. He's not going to play in front of Zinchenko because Zinchenko was brought in to do that role, that left back role.
Yo, okay.
And it's crunch time. You're going to go with Zinchenko because you know how it is.
I feel like this is probably a good name though. Maybe he should get it because I didn't even remember him, Jelly. I mean,
That's a shout.
he too. I guess in his games that he didn't set no world light, so that's why he didn't get games consistently. And even in the Europa League, it's probably Vieira. Thanks, Jalil, because even in the Europa League, you're looking for a bit of magic, and that wasn't there. That's exactly when he got. That's when he got game. That's when because in the league we had a pretty constant 11, a pretty constant 11. But in the Europa League, he was playing most of those. He got a lot of minutes there. Yeah, man. Yeah, Jalil. Thanks. Be because
Yo, okay, but let's let's kind of twist it a little and not blame
mhm.
a flop because it kind of difficult here. Who is your least underwhelming player? As I would say that
Okay,
plays
fair enough.
regularly. I think
Fair
we
enough. That
get
plays
something out of
regularly.
him.
I felt like towards the back end of the season, our last maybe 7, 8 games, I was looking for more from Party. Honestly, I feel like I'm watching games, those Western games, the Southampton. Grab the game like how I know you can do, like how you've been doing it all season, and show me the quality. And I feel like I'm watching the games and games are passing him by. I, it could very well be him. I mean, how would you answer that? I'll get to Jelly's players this season.
Yeah, it's a good show. I would put. I mean, I was probably thinking Mahrez because I know how influential,
Mm.
that he
But
not.
that's because you set high standards for him. I felt like he was good in when he got them.
Yeah, he was good. You see, and that's the thing. I kind of have. It's
But
difficult
what
when
about Foden, Moy? I
you
felt like
see
he was
he the thing
underwhelming this
too.
season.
Not really, because he never. The only thing that makes it seem like that, he Grealish outfavored him in that position. But when he got the opportunity, he made them count by scoring, assisting. He had good numbers for the season,
All right,
so that I don't know. I don't know.
fair enough.
It's not
Jaleel
really a
says,
poor things from both of our teams now. We just have, as I would say, glimpse of when the teams don't play good. Then you can probably
yeah,
single out one or two. But it's not really any outright favorites for those aspects. So
yeah, fair enough. Not Joe. What's his name? Jaleel says Lisandro is his player of the season. Lisandro is also the signing of the season. Rashford, he gives most improved. Ericsson is unsung hero. And Maguire, I don't know, Maguire can still be a flopper now. What about Malasia? Jaleel. How come he now on flop? He says Sancho underwhelming player of the season. Sancho been go up in the hills and so it's true. All right. More we didn't get to our most improved. You giving your most improved too. I'll give Martinelli because Martinelli has some really good numbers.
Most most improved has to be General Johnstone to me.
Well, John Stones. Mm. Okay, similar
Just in
to
how that he grew into that new role that Pep kind of
right,
implemented him into,
right.
and he was still solid defensively, at least one of our best defenders for the season. So yeah,
That's not fair. That's fair.
most
You
improved
see,
has to be Johnstone.
and I feel like too when he was put into that role, that's when City became dominant. City went on that big run after they made that adjustment because I mean you kept having games where you're like okay no then you have a draw here maybe 2 games after that then you had an L but then ever since the John Stones come into that role you're like yo City look unbeatable again. So that's a good shout.
Yep.
I think I'll rock with
Ooh,
Martinez.
I have to give an honorable mention here too to Nathan Ake.
Yeah,
He stepped up good in the fullback role for us
yeah, yeah.
when we didn't have an outright full. So he would challenge. He would have challenged Stones for that also.
All right.
Honorable mention.
If I can have an honorable mention, the most improved, could I say? Yo, you know how we start. I don't want to say, yo, Odegaard. Odegaard had, I mean, Odegaard made another jump. He added goals to his games this year, goals plus assists to his
Definitely.
games this year, and almost propelled us to something special. You said there, more?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
okay.
say I agree.
All
I agree with that.
right, right. So we know at your unsung hero, more someone who generally gets overlooked but shouldn't have been in terms of praise, not in terms of team selection. I can say why you think I can say I can go with Ben White. I can go with Ben White this season playing out of position. And I can remember certain fans were like, yo, well, Ben White's going to play right back. I have two right back. I had this, I had that. Ben White, and of course, my big boy Gabriel. Gabriel has played a pivotal role in our season. I mean, just the fact that he was available to consistently, consistently was a defining factor for me. So in between Ben White and what's his name and Gabriel, you shout out to Ramsdale because sometimes Ramsdale kept us in games. Sometimes Ramsdale just single
Yeah.
handedly a save here kept us in game, and we go down and we got then we scored. So, but if I should just choose one,
I
I'll go Ben White. I'll go Ben White.
yeah, I kind of have like let's say like three separate categories for mine. I think
Wow.
the outright favorite coming to your name would be, cause hear me out. You would think Gundua, unsung hero, but you kind of know that it's something that you're accustomed to do. But I think he's still an unsung hero, for coming up, clutching a couple of those games. But then there's I have a propel starter too, and I have to give that to like Jack Grealish, after the World Cup. He came in, did his thing, went
Uh,
forward and went out, and that Foden was his last, but he kind of kickstarted to that. And then for my unsung hero, would be my favorite. I would have give it to Akanji
oh,
because Akanji has been solid
yeah.
so far for the season. Such a deep
True,
bargain. He has been a
true.
staple in the team. He was supposed to be a backup. He managed to keep the likes of Laporte out the team. I mean, he played centre back, right back, left back to finish off the season. So yeah, he has to be my unsung hero before we change the backline also.
Mm-hmm. Monchi says Gondog deserves his statue. Monchi, while you're here, we've just been going through our individuals club awards. We were looking at player of the season, flop of the season. Where's my player of the season, flop of the season, most improved player of the season, unsung hero of the season, and then our sign of the season is the last one. We have to get to more. Um, I mean, who did we bring in this year? It seems like such a long time. We brought in
I
Zinchenko,
signed
Gabriel
it.
Jesus, but Jorginho was good too when he came in. Um,
Yes,
mm,
Kiwi, or didn't come in this season, or that was last season.
Silvio came in, yeah, he came in January. I'd probably go with Zinchenko. Probably go with Zinchenko because he allowed us to play in the way that Mikel Arteta had in his mind for us to play all along. Because if you remember now, in the first season when we won the FA Cup, he had Ainsley. Our time we were playing five back, he had Ainsley playing in that role. And you can see he wanted something like because I can remember too. There was a time when Shaka was playing left back as well, and would do that same thing there. So it gave Mikel Arteta something that he always wanted. So I'll go with Zinchenko. I'll go with Zinchenko. It didn't quite pan out, but and people kept saying, "Oh, Zinchenko out of position." I'm like, how can he be out of position if the manager told him to play in this position, knowing that that side will be left a bit more vulnerable than the other side. So yeah, I give Zin. I give Zin.
Yeah. My sign has to be, I have to give Akanji another award, because that
I can't
15
came in this
million went
year.
all to. Yeah, he came in. He
Wow.
came in. That was a 15 million. We can legit say that was probably a 50 million bargain. Somebody, as I go again,
Yeah,
somebody
he
that
is
was
highly
supposed to
touted
be
too.
like a backup and just managed to come in and cement his place in the team. When
Right.
Diaz was out, he stepped up and did what he had to do. When we had right back issues, he went there, did what he had to do. Went to left back when Aki was out. So he was one of the most consistent across the teams, keeping the back line stable, fitting in. But when the newer set came in, the most current set came in and still had the chemistry.
Hawks, I hear that. I hear that. And I mean, when you look at it just holistically at Manchester City, they have a certain way of playing and a certain style, and everyone is drilled, and we see the outcome. We see the outcome every week when we watch them. But it comes from just them knowing what to do. There's a certain level of consistency that they have over the entire game, over the entire length of the season. When she says worst sign of the season
Yeah.
contender, really high. What are you talking about? He says Arthur Mello, Wegas, Anthony, Enzo, and the list goes on and on. Munchie, you just here to throw banter. That's what happened to
Oh yeah.
to go ahead, man.
With the sign of the season, Alvarez is there, but I think he's going to get overshine, because of what Haaland has done. Well, he and all has put up good numbers, but
Yeah,
I have to give, mentions to Ortega. I think Ortega is a very good keeper. I think if anything was to happen, Edison, might get some injury or something, and
you
Ortega
feel
had to come
secure.
in, I would have feel very comfortable. Looking
Okay.
at back at last season, we had Zach Steph, when the confidence wasn't that high when he had to come into play. Ortega coming in, managed to keep a clean sheet throughout the whole FA Cup campaign that he had back. Yeah. Managed to
Yeah.
keep a clean sheet the whole FA Cup campaign until the final. Yeah, he's a good shot stopper, somebody that you will be confident in the goal. So yeah, he has a good shout. He has a good shout to his name
I
for that also.
I hear that. This is just because Monchi brought up Arthur Mello. Liverpool has signed McAllister as well. That's a here we go. That's a here we go. That's a here we go there. We have McAllister going to Liverpool. What kind of signing you think that would be more? You didn't hear me.
No, go again.
Yo, yeah,
I got you up for a
I
bit.
was asking you about McAllister to Liverpool and your thoughts on that.
Chopping.
Okay. Let me just talk. When you can hear me,
I
you
don't
can
know
just
what
talk. Okay.
happened. When you talk, you kind of chop, and then when you go silent, it's clean for when the started. I don't know what's happening. Well, yeah, talk. When I understand, I'll just chime in.
Right, right. That's
I'll
that's
try
exactly
to
what I said.
understand.
So I was looking at McAllister for Liverpool. When I look at Liverpool's midfield this season, that was where I think Liverpool had their downfall. Barring, of course, they had injuries to key players like Luis Diaz and stuff like that. But when you look at what we've known a Klopp team to be, a Liverpool team to be pressing, I feel like they missed that because they although they had Henderson, and they kept pairing him with this and with that. It was just choppy all season. But McAllister now, who really ever gets injured, he's gonna come in. He's gonna have his youthful exuberance, and I feel like that's going to be a key, a pivotal signing for Liverpool. Would I say oh, they're certainly title contenders now with him. No, I feel like the Liverpool entire midfield needs to go through a whole rebuilding process. When that happens, but this signing, I think, is a step in the right direction. Of course, I have to be unbiased. I'm just talking football, but I feel like because they even said there were rumors that I think it was Chelsea. I don't know, but I know I think it was. I know they said Liverpool and Arsenal. There was one other club who triggered his release clause, but he chose Liverpool. And when you look at that, I'm like, okay, he must have gotten some assurances from club and from the board that he wasn't going. He was just the first of many to come because that entire midfield needs to be rebuilt. Moya, with us now?
Yeah,
Yeah, talking about McAllister.
yeah, but before when the whole Jude Bellingham story was going around, and you had Liverpool going in for Jude, City going in for Jude, and Liverpool fans wanted Jude for sure, and it was a whole negative reaction when the board came out and said they're going to stop negotiation for Jude. Right now, I think they could probably smile for it because rather than spending 100 on just one player, which I mean, 100 on one player would have been good because Jude is a talent. But
All right.
if you can manage to reconstruct your midfield, bring in McAllister, we know what McAllister can do. If you can bring in like two other players, capable of his standards, or somebody coming up that they have talent, I think it's good because the team needs more reconstruction rather than you bringing in one star to try and get back building the squad depth around. So yeah, I think they should be doing good business for this season, especially in their midfield.
They have to do that because
Yeah,
also
it's good
Firmino
for
is not Firmino's not going to be there anymore. Firmino has left or is leaving. Um, Henderson is over the hill now. So mainly it's just Elliott, really. You still have Elliott. I think Cater, they'll probably looking to move on Cater as well. So I'm not even
still,
going to think about
they still
Cater.
have
But
that young midfielder. I think it's Belichicky he is
yeah,
the one with
he got who
that
got
one.
injured. Yeah, who got injured throughout the season. He
Yeah,
came in and he was good. I think they should give up on Curtis Jones. That man did not good that.
yeah,
Just
he's going to be that rotational type of player.
he'll probably turn into the new James Milner. He'll probably turn into the new James Milner. Um, anything on the city and more? We are saying over in terms of transfers. We look to wrap up this now.
Um, we're just looking on Guardiola for sure now because
Okay.
we try to
So Sammy
see
Laporte
if we could
outside.
get money for that. Well, kinda, but we're not hearing anything strong as yet. There was rumors that he wanted to leave, because he wasn't getting that much. But Cancelo seems like one for sure that should be going out the door
Yeah.
come this summer. So he was trying to see if we could get, because it don't seem like any club wants to pay at least like I think we're looking at least 70 to 80 for Cancelo or something like that.
70 to
So I don't
80
think,
for an unhappy player.
yeah, but we know his talent though, so that's the thing.
I
That's the
ain't
thing I've always been saying with
I ain't
City
paying
players
that.
though. Like, and that's the thing though. I was saying that I heard rumors that he wants to go to Spain, that he was supposed to go to Barcelona, for his
Okay.
loan, but then that
That was
got
true
rejected.
too.
We're not sending it. So then, yeah, Guardiola is the main one. So we're trying to see how much funds we can get for Cancelo to try and fund the Guardiola stuff because Guardiola could play centre back and he could play left back. So then that's another versatile covered right there.
I see Arsenal looking at the every day they're talking about the Declan Rice. So I feel like that may happen. But of course they have the finals, so not really saying much about that. But the Caicedo one is making some noise. Chelsea going in for Caicedo as well because the guy who they wanted, Ugati or something like that, however you pronounce his name, he is now gone to PSG. So but Brighton won 100 million for Caicedo. You're right, man.
I'm not
Brighton used to charge people 50. Whatever happened to that?
I'm not giving up. I'm not paying 100 million for Caicedo.
Nah,
Ah,
no, I don't think so either. I see his talent.
Caicedo,
I see his ability. I know he's a lot of years, but I think taking all that into consideration, boy, big man. I know inflation, the market. I can think they can take 70 dog. If you want to be wild,
Caicedo,
80.
Rice. Caicedo and Declan Rice can go for the same amount.
Big man, 20 should go for 65.
Because
And that's oh,
yo, I understand the inflation, but
but
at
I have to
times the
understand the market.
inflation,
But even
the
65 too is so
inflation
much.
is crazy. And the thing is, you look on it at different players because just like last week we had the Cole Kane discussion. If you're going to pay 115 for Kane or not, some people
Right.
agreed, some people disagreed. And it's just like the same thing. I know persons will agree and disagree because they'll be like, Kai said he's young. Yes, he can do in the Premier League, but I just don't think so, though. I just don't think 100 million. I think 100 million should be on, you know, let me see, world class players or
Ready,
something.
red, small, ready made. Been there, done that.
You see, man's like Vinny Jr., Haaland could go there, Mbappe. Uh, we can call Neymar now.
Yeah, I mean, name I done the
Neymar will
money fee.
probably squeeze through 100 now. Yeah, players like those. I mean, Rafael Leao, I wouldn't
Not
put
yet.
him.
Not yet.
I would pay 90 for him tops. He's a good player. Shout out to him for that. Yeah, I like
But this is what I'm
Colomuani.
saying, man. I said so last year.
Todd. Oh,
I said so last year, man. I said so in January when Chelsea was doing their madness. Yo, they need to start showing breakdown that. They need to start bringing some invoices. Because how you get to how you get to 80 million, 100 million for Caicedo that? Show me the breakdown. Me want to
that's
know make you
true.
charge me X amount for this, X amount
That's
to that.
true. Certain things won't be on the breakdown because we look. I mean, they can't just put age on the breakdown. Age, how
You can
loyal,
put age, you can put age, you can put potential, but the man
yeah,
want to charge you 16, 80 million or so for potential, dog. No way, dog.
yeah,
No way.
it varies. Cause that's why I even understand. And these price before I get to where I understand, these prices make the players look very, very bad when they don't perform after the transfer and it's not even their
Exactly.
fault. Because you
Exactly.
look players like, I'm going to call Grealish was one of them. You look at Enzo, even so Chelsea was on a whole was poor. No matter how you say he could have been the
Madrid,
best player. Modric, all those players, it's going to affect them. It's not their fault though.
yeah. Anthony,
Yeah, it's just the club valuing what
right.
you
I
have.
mean, and to be fair, Moy, we can't even say it's wrong because if you spending more, if you okay, my car say you go buy food, and they say, boy, this okay, my car say buy a burger and fries. I say $100 for the burger and fries. You expect the burger fries to do more than just full your belly.
Yeah.
That you have a full your belly for now and little later too. And the feeling that you get when you bite every piece of the burger have to linger in your mind for days.
Yeah,
So when you bring in a man for 100, you must be able to win me games single handedly.
yeah, that's what it is. You expect them to come in and perform at such a high
Right,
standard as they hit the
right.
ground. And a lot of players, not everybody reacts the same. Some players would come in and click instantly. Some players will take,
Yeah,
maybe 10
take some
games throughout
time.
the season. Or some players will take a whole season just to gel. Or season
Yeah.
or so all those things has a lot to play on them. But
And
you can
when you bring in a new player, then maybe there's a new manager coming in too. But the fee don't help. Fee doesn't help at all.
yeah, it's crazy. But just the act, they were saying I heard a talking saying that Saudi Arabia is looking to be the Super League that the soup is looking to be the Super League of, well, technically
Of the
Super League, but
world.
it's all players, but it's not really, they're trying to
Look,
form their own stuff with
I feel like they're trying to build their
MLS,
league.
MLS standards, but better.
Right, they're trying to build their league. They're trying to build a league. They're trying to get awareness for their league. So I understand that they're gonna try and pull some names over there. But the money that they gonna pay the man did that, the money that they gonna offer them man, big man, me want on 2 year.
Oh no, you
Me
don't
want
realize.
2 year.
No, if we want to watch Benzema, we have to watch Saudi League because he can
Yep,
retire from international
yep.
and it's just Saudi Arabia there. And imagine if Messi goes, dips Barcelona and says, "Hey, we don't do more for do. Let me go and earn some more money," and goes to Saudi League. Bro,
It's gonna be right. But I understand what they're doing. They have to do it in a way that I mean, and they can afford to pay them. So they're gonna have to bring in some stars to attract people to them, and then slowly but surely, other teams will start to will start to attract. They're going entirely. Will continue to attract other players, thus building their league. They're trying to build their brand. I
yeah,
personally probably won't work, but they're gonna get some stars.
I heard the other thing and all. They were saying that MLS kind of have a plan. Let's say they bring in somebody like Messi, and they were saying that all the other teams would kind of help, some fun to bring Messi to the club where he's going to. So then it's like a commercial. It's like a commercial type of
Yeah,
stuff. When you're saying it's like you're hearing it as Messi versus Galaxy, Messi versus Toronto. So then
yeah.
everybody's just benefiting from it.
From the Messi hype.
Yes, I was like, how does this? Why am I funding somebody to go for it? But then it kind of
But
makes sense.
yeah, because remember, Tumor is not just the money from the clubs, man. It's money from ticket sales and stuff like that. Them team, not teams alone. The entire league. They try and make funds for themselves. So if you bring in Messi, then you can know whoever own your TV rights. You can now move that from 30 million to 50 million because everybody wants to see Messi on show. And
Yeah,
that's what it
because
is.
you must have let's not to jump to Messi because he's not there as yet. Let's look at the likes when Lampard, David Villa, Thierry Henry was in. Not
Yeah,
forgetting, I think Lampard and Pirlo and David Villa all was on
Vieira,
one team.
yeah,
And we were all looking that's prime MLS will show up on ESPN,
yeah. You
and
want to watch it? Yeah.
you're going to see it.
So
Everybody
that's the
has
same thing that them Saudis is trying over there. So we just gotta watch and see if it works. But more last thing we're gonna touch on is just take a minute. How you feeling before the weekend? Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 days away, 5 6 days away. How you feeling? Treble on?
Yeah, the trouble is on, but you're going to have to come back to me on more feelings as it gets closer, Thursday. And I guarantee you, as even much confidence I have, Saturday when about 2 o'clock, it when 1:30 when the when the lineup come out, even though I'm much confident I will win the treble, I will be start getting my goosebumps and start feeling, more interesting than the players, because I'm up for it, hoping
No.
I can have
I
party this
mean,
time.
it's one thing to win the Champions League more, which is what you've wanted to do for a while ever since you brought in Pep. You've come close a couple of times in recent seasons. But do you think that the fact that the treble is also on the cards adds a bit more of unwanted pressure?
Yeah, I think it adds pressure because just listening to the City players, they always talk about we're not focusing on trouble as yet, we're taking it one step at a time. And I mean, I listened to Grealish after we won the FA Cup, and he was like, "They ain't no hiding it now, though. We already won two. There's one more to go." So then
Yeah,
now, and plus we want to win the Champions League, so the talk has to be there. The excitement has to be there. It has to be real. We're gearing up for it. We want it, and yeah, it seems real. And the whole talk of comparing to Manchester United, the trophy if we're better or not. Really and truly, I don't care if we bet if our treble team is better or worse off than United. I'm just glad that we're trying to make history for ourselves. We finally managed to
we
win a
don't want to.
Champions League, so we won't hear that annoying talk. Oh, we never win a Champions League. My annoying Chelsea friends, they like, oh, remember that Havertz goal. Those things ticks me off at times. But if stuff I don't bother with it. But yeah, I'm just glad that we here making history for ourselves. Yeah, we just continue to do what we got to do.
We're gonna see exactly how that goes. We're gonna do a bit more of a breakdown and a preview on it on Thursday night when we come back. But a couple of days away, I know the excitement is building for more. I mean personally, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, whatever happens. Give me a good game. Let somebody win 4-3 in the 96th minute. Let's just see a game like that. Let's just see a game like that. I mean, before I don't want to sit down and see a 1-0 game like the Chelsea versus City game. I don't want to see that. Show me something. Show me something. Like okay, even like other. Show me some saves. Like Coach had a world game last year in the CL final. Show me a game like that. That's what I want to see. Finals are supposed to be big games. Show me. Show me
Yo,
all the two best teams.
I'm really and truly, I'm really ready up on gear. I hope the players seem like they are. But I don't think we have ever played a Serie A team, but at least a long time since we played one in the Champions League. And it's not like the likes of Real Madrid. You're going to hear Real Madrid, so you're going to okay, boom,
Yeah, and your favorites going into this
let's click in
on the weekend.
because it's a whole Bayern Real Madrid. We know what we have to do 120% in order to play this. It's Inter. We know how them Italians love to defend. Serie A teams playing good, so
Very well.
they just need to keep their focus and do what they have to do.
And let's just see how it goes. We'll be back on Thursday, guys. Thanks to everybody who joined us, commented as well. But we'll be back on Thursday. We are.
Thank you for watching Island Fans. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when there are new videos and updates. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and like us on Facebook. Island Fans, for the passion of the game.